Lads, we are back.
Good afternoon.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah, nothing like a Sunday 12:30 recording for us. It feels like good times, old times. Vintage 2-on-1 podcast.
Yes. Those were the days.
We have a special way to open the show because it is getting into winter. So you know what that means.
Winter is what? Winter is what?
Winter is coming. I'm Sean Bain. I'm a Geordie. Winter is coming, John. You must join the night. It's very honourable, John. Winter is coming, bastard. Anyway, that takes a toll on the old throat, you know, being a Geordie. Anyway, so it's that time of the year, which means it's hockey card season at Timmy's. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I am fairly sure these are the design for last year's cards. Because if you look on the back, last season's stats aren't on these cards, I've noticed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you look at the cards, I obviously have been collecting so far. Got a pack with 2 Pasternaks on it because that's funny.
That's
but
hilarious.
For example, I pulled them up here and I look at, not Tim Horton, no. I look at Jared Spurgeon, 1920 season. I look at Jacob Markstrom, 1920 season, and obviously we didn't have the cards last year. So I feel like these were the designs for last season because obviously we didn't have them because of COVID.
Yeah.
I also got a Jack Eichel earlier, which was hilarious because obviously he's not a Sabre. But anyway, we all have a pack.
Didn't you get him the day he was traded?
It was like the day after. I went to Tim's and it was just, there's Jack Eichel, and it was hilarious. Anyway, so each of us have a pack. So this is the second time on the show I think we've opened packs into the whole thing. Okay, who would like to go first? Actually, do you know what we'll do? You know what we'll do? Okay, gentlemen, look at the screen. Actually, no, this is the third time we've done it because I remember going over this exact sequence before. Okay, open your pack. Don't look at it.
It's open. It's
open. Okay, Daniel, you're looking down. Stop cheating.
Open.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, there are the 2 player cards on either side and a special card in the middle. As I try and open my thing. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is reach in and get your middle surprise card because that's obviously less interesting. Okay.
1 second.
Daniel, you go first. What is your special card?
Special card. Okay, I'm not looking.
Okay.
I'll show it to the camera.
It's the middle one. You have, oh, that's nice. What is that? A Dylan Larkin?
Oh, yes. Dylan Larkin gold etchings.
That's pretty sick, actually. That's a good card. That's a very good card. Alex, go ahead. What is your special card? Ooh, a silver.
Artemi Panarin.
Oh, the Breadman.
It is Superstar Showcase Artemi Panarin.
So we got a gold, a silver. Okay, I got. Oh,
Patrice Bergeron.
An NHL canvas, Patrice Bergeron. Bergeron, a conduit. Well, no, that's the French version. Bergeron lifted Boston to a 4-2 win in Philadelphia with his 6th NHL hat trick on April 6, 2020. April 6, 2021. What the hell? Okay, they do have some updated ones. Pat! He's great. So we got a canvas, a silver, and a gold. Okay, guys. Doesn't matter now. Okay, get one of the other cards. We'll go reverse order. I'll go next. Okay? And I have here my second Jacob Markstrom. Great. Amazing. Okay. Go ahead, Alex. Who's your first player?
I got Kevin Hayes.
Oh, I hope he's doing well and he's getting healthy, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
What a rough year for that guy. Okay, Daniel, who is your first player?
I have Jacob
Markstrom. Wow. Okay, so clearly the Toronto Cards in Southern Ontario seem to love Jacob Markstrom for some reason. He's off to a good start, by the way, eh?
He is.
He's like 4 shutouts this year.
Okay. Crazy.
Alex, show us your last card, your player.
Okay. It is Sergei Bobrovsky.
You're off the case, Bobrovsky. Wow, a lot of goalies, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, Daniel, go ahead. Who is your last player?
one is
Jonathan Huberdeau.
Oh.
Okay.
A lot of red cards.
Yeah, we're hey man, the Panthers. Okay, my final card is John Carlson. I needed defenseman. Okay. That's not a bad pack. Markstrom, Carlson. Let's see. I hope I don't have a John Carlson already. I feel like I might have one. Anyway, okay. So there we go. Opening packs. I don't know how exciting that was to listen to, but that doesn't matter. I liked it. The team is coming.
Buy more now.
Yeah, obviously we're gonna have to do this on Wednesday.
How many do you guys buy per visit?
And one.
One?
Yeah, unless like 3 people are getting drinks, and it's like, okay, never mind, everyone get a pack.
Because what I remember, but they don't do this anymore. So the Tim Hortons in Center Point Mall
Yeah.
at Yonge and Steeles,
Yeah.
they used to give it $1 each if you buy a maximum of 3 with a drink.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that.
I think they stopped that because what happened was, okay, I was really into this like maybe 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do is I would order a drink, 3 packs, and then my 2 sisters would also a drink 3 packs for me, and then 3 packs, and then my mom would also get 3 packs for me.
That's good, man. The hunt for Carey Price continues, by the way. I need that card. All right. So now we can talk about hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's no better way to open the show. We could talk about the Habs losing again. We could talk about the Leafs winning again. We can talk about Arizona finally winning a game. But we're not going to do that. Connor McDavid, I think, had the best goal that has been scored in this league since Alex Ovechkin's on his back swing around hook goal against Wayne Gretzky's Phoenix Coyotes. I'll tell you, what really impressed me about that goal, by the way, guys, wasn't the fact that he just beat 4 guys, which was hilarious. It was a bad line change, right? But one of the Rangers recognized it was McDavid and came back, so like it didn't even matter. What was impressive for me on that goal is McDavid had to, obviously because he was offside, had to go back around with the puck, wait for 2 more Oilers to get onside, almost runs into one of his teammates, still comes back in and beats 4 guys and scores.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous goal, like insane.
Mm-hmm.
Walk through 4 guys and then the goalie.
I love the confidence. You know, I think it's just a kind of showing how they're having their season, right? It's nothing like they're having fun, quote unquote, out there, but it's just something where it's like these are the highlights you want to see with a team that's doing so well.
I think it's that time of the show. It feels like we're doing this all the time now, where we quickly get up the leading scorers of the league, aka McDavid's at 22 points and Draisaitl's at 23. McDavid is 4 points ahead of Alexander Ovechkin, by the way.
I know we're 10 games into the season, but that team has 5 players point per game.
So who else? Nuge?
So Nuge has 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
How many goals do you think he has?
Nuge?
Yeah.
4.
3.
0. He has 14 assists.
What?
He has 14 assists.
That sounds like, do you ever get those guys in like in the NHL games where it's like it's a guy either scores a lot or he just scores like 2 goals a year, but he has like 50 assists.
He has 14 points and 14 assists.
And he's playing center, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so the rest, so there's 2 more.
Barry and Hyman. Oh, no.
Jesse Puljujarvi.
Yeah.
With 5 goals and 7 assists, so 12 points. And then Hyman, 7 goals, 3 assists.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Ken Holland, man. The defense is still questionable. But holy cow. That's pretty decent. That is very, very decent. I can't believe that. That's amazing. Connor McDavid's a pretty good player. I somehow never, like, the guy never ceases to amaze. He is just on another level right now. What's that thing that Don Cherry said in Bobby Orr's book? If there was a league above the NHL, that's where Bobby Orr would have played.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Orr, Gretzky, Howe's probably in there, Sid. And now McDavid joins that class. You know, it's pretty incredible to look at, to be honest. All right. I think now it's a pretty safe place to start. And it's a bit of a bummer because I feel like this guy was never in a position to succeed. Jeremy Colleton is now out as Chicago Blackhawks head coach. A few assistants go with him. It feels like everyone except Mark Crawford has a job in Chicago now. Derek King is the interim. He was originally with Rockford. He'll be there for the whole of the season, apparently. Now, this is right after the Blackhawks lost 5-1 to the Jets, and at that time, I don't know if they've played since. I don't think they have. Their record is now 1-9-2. Not great. But not a surprise firing either, to be honest.
You know, I saw some people complaining about so remember a couple weeks ago, the picture floated around of Jeremy Colleton handing the board to the players at the timeout. And they're like, well, you could have just fired him then. I don't know. Like the timeline here is that happens 2 days later. The Jenner and Block report is released.
Yeah.
So just my personal guess is they didn't want to fire him in the middle of the aftermath of that coming out. So like it was going to happen. He was put in a horrible situation to begin with. Like, was he not booed the first night he coached because he was
for the home opener? Yeah, he was booed.
I think he's been booed since the day he took over.
Like I feel bad for him because management put him in such a horrible situation because he's not Joel Quenneville. Like that's what it was at the time when he was hired. Was we knew there was butting heads between management and Quenneville. Like that's been the rumor for years. So to throw him in there then when they were like 500 Chicago at the time was just, it was not a great move by management in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree that he was put into an impossible task of trying to build a winner with the roster that they had at the time where they were still relying on all of the older guys. They were not having much depth. And if Joel Quenneville could not turn that team around, I don't think Jeremy Colleton could do any better. And listen, like what was going on with him this year, what was going on with the Blackhawks, like the writing was on the wall already. I agree with you, Alex, that I was really surprised that he did stay this long. I thought based on how last year went, especially towards the end where there was that sudden collapse of the Blackhawks out of that second wildcard spot, I really thought it was coming in the off season. So for me, I was surprised that he still stayed, I guess, about 10 games into this season.
So, but by the way, in case anyone is wondering, Colleton was, I want to say, so he retired from playing in 2014. He only ever played in the NHL for the Islanders. So he was never a part of what happened with Kyle Beach in the Blackhawks organization. Again, I think he was hired in 2017 to Rockford as their head coach at the time. So yeah, that's after the Akeem Alou stuff. So he isn't a part of that. You see, now he was, I believe when he was hired, and right now he is 30, he's 36 now. At the time of his hiring, and maybe even still today, he's the youngest coach in the league, or head coach, I should say. And he was kind of put into this scenario where you'll feel like where the Blackhawks were, they didn't have Panarin anymore. Obviously, Hjalmarsson was gone. Duncan Keith wasn't the same anymore. Seabrook was been on and off playing period the past couple of years before he quote unquote retired. It was, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we're rebuilding. Okay, he has this young team up and coming. We can see what he can do. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, no, we're actually being back to this, competitive team. And it's just, he was never in a position to succeed. And, you have management who, Stan Bowman at the time, before he was obviously stepped down from the Blackhawks stuff, it was, he sort of lost. There was no real vision building that team after, like, since that notorious series against Nashville in 2017, the Blackhawks lost all vision of what they were and where the team was going. And it was just, Colleton had no chance. I'm sure he'll be hired as an assistant sometime. I would give that guy a chance. He wasn't perfect, like how he was treating Dylan Strome. Like, that guy isn't going to succeed as your fourth line center in that. But, there's, like, he's got to learn. You know what I mean? Especially because he followed Joel Quenneville. And again, we're ignoring, like, on the side here, it's like, obviously, Quenneville is no saint. We all know what happened with the Kyle Beach stuff. But, there is still that level of coach and that, like, that presence there that he was never... He was having to coach players that were, like, the same age as him. Like, how do you go in as your first NHL head coach job and tell Patrick Kane how to play? You can't do that. Like, there's a certain level of... I think back to Minnesota and Parise and Suter and how it seemed like there was almost a bit of entitlement to those guys in the room. Imagine what it has to be in Chicago. So I feel bad for the guy, and I really hope, like, I think Blackhawks fans were totally unfair to that guy. And I hope he gets a job somewhere else and just sort of, gets some reps in, you know what I mean? And just gets a second chance somewhere, because I think he deserves it.
Yeah. Two things. when you talk about age, I remember that the comparison they had was he played in the World Juniors for Canada with Brent Seabrook.
No way.
Yeah, they're in the
Really?
same draft class, 2003. So that was when he was hired. I remember the name, and I was surprised that they gave him that level of promotion so quickly, especially for what the Blackhawks were trying to do at the time, because it is unfair to him when you look at where they were when he took over, that whole really quick youth movement. But when I think about that youth movement, they still want it to be kind of competitive. But what I've looked at right now with the results, that anyone not named Kirby Doc has not been very good. Well, they lost Pius Suter, but that's another thing. And now when they went out and spent, it hasn't worked. And I think, it's really early right now, but the fact that they gave up Adam Boquist and Cole Sillinger, who's remained with the Blue Jackets, has to be a big hit for them. And another first. Yeah.
You brought some, I think there's a way to compare this team with, or that coaching situation with like Detroit a few years ago when Babcock left and they replaced him with Jeff Blashill. And in a way, like, they were giving Jeff Blashill the chance to work with that team and develop a relationship and develop some type of system with that team. That's why he's still there. There might not be a great team, but that's their coach. Whereas here, they kind of let Joel Quenneville go. They said, okay, we're going to rebuild. And then less than 2 years later, we're sitting here, well, we're not rebuilding anymore. And Colleton's had less than 2 years of NHL coaching experience, and you kind of put him in a crappy situation. Whereas if you just let the rebuild play out, maybe we're having a different conversation about Jeremy Colleton.
Do you want to know how much head coaching experience he actually had before he was named Blackhawks coach?
Like
in general?
2 years?
Yeah, he was all together. If I'm reading this right, he had, of AHL games as head coach, the guy had 88 games. A season and then 12 to start 18-19 is when he came in, of course, was head coach of Chicago. I'm saying, man, I feel bad for him. I feel really bad for him. Okay, moving on. I guess we can start with the Leafs and the Habs. Sort of big news of today, really, is that Peter Mrazek seems to have re-aggravated a groin injury. I want to say he played a game since he came back from injury initially. So this is from Luke Fox, Jukebox on Twitter. The first groin injury cost Mrazek 2 weeks. He played one game and will now miss an additional 4 weeks. Jack Campbell's workload will become a concern. I put this under Jack Campbell sort of notes here going back to the Tampa game because obviously by that time Montreal were losing 5-0 and I turned the game off. And so I was watching the third period of that Leafs-Tampa game. And we'll talk about the Bruins one again in a second here and also sort of the word about a D being on the move. And I looked at Jack Campbell, I thought, holy cow, this guy is playing lights out right now. I know people are kind of like, maybe, but I think if he keeps playing this way, by the way, he's going to push for the Olympic roster. I believe that. But the thing with Campbell is we know that, this is his first full year being a backup, being a starter, I should say. And I wonder, and maybe this is a temporary thing again, but looking at Mrazek's health the past couple of years, do they go out and get another goalie? Because you can't trust Hutchison.
So I think, well, Mike helped me out here. Within like the next 2 weeks, they play 2 back-to-backs. I believe one against Buffalo and the second one against the Islanders. And I believe last time Hutchinson played the Islanders, he had a shutout, which is kind of funny.
Surprising, yeah.
But whatever. Yeah, you're right. Like I wondered that as well. It's just a matter of, okay, so you go out and get another goaltender, and then what? Like, what happens when Mrazek comes back? Because we're having the conversation about moving a D, and we'll get to that. That might be because Mikheyev's coming back. Like, money has to move. When you're a team close to the cap, like half the league is, money has to be moved around. What I would have really liked, and I think it was Adam Wild who brought up this point like weeks or months ago. You want to have like a third goalie who's a developing prospect, who you can send up and down through waivers. An example, Caden Primo, where Is he NHL backup ready? Maybe not yet, but can you throw him in the occasional game on a back-to-back? Sure. And can you send him down through waivers without waivers? 100%. Like that's what the ideal situation is. Someone you don't have to send through waivers. I just don't know if that exists in the trade market at the moment.
Joe Wall's not ready yet, right? Or is he still injured?
Because I know not injured. No,
he was called injured. Up, right?
Or Ian Scott re-aggravated an injury, which is so unfortunate. That kid, like
I know, I'm
3 years
hoping all the best for him. So, would you give Joe Wall a start
against Buffalo?
Yeah, like maybe
just to see. I just to see what you have at the moment. But I don't, like he hasn't necessarily played a whole lot because he was also injured. So it's just a really tough situation where, you know what, I guess Michael Hutchinson might have to play. It's just the reality, unfortunately.
Do you ever see that meme where it's from The Simpsons?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
They kept using it. I think Adam Wilde used it a lot too, and Steve Dangle. Where from The Simpsons, Moe throws out Barney from the bar, and then when he's like looking around after the next panel, Barney's behind him, and it's like Michael Hutchinson and the Leafs.
Yes. It's Mike. Yeah.
I worry because I'm just looking at goaltenders who have played the most games so far. Allen's at the top of it for 11 for Montreal. Robin Lehner's up there 10 for Vegas. And Jack Campbell is also there at 10 games. Also at 10 games, Arizona's goalie, who I would be surprised if you've heard of him, Karel Vejmelka.
He had an amazing video with Jacob Chikrin.
What was the video?
Where they were all going around in the locker room saying, "What's the most underrated candy?" And then he's like, "What's the most underrated like candy brand?" And then he said chocolate. And then they're like, "No. What is it?" And then he's like, "Yeah, I like chocolate."
You just didn't get it?
You didn't understand.
Yeah.
What was Chikrin saying?
Yeah, I was like, I think like everyone was saying like the crispy bar. The crunch bar, not coffee crisp, a crunch bar. You know the one with the Rice Crisps.
I thought you were gonna say they all went around the room and asked do you have a point? No. Do you have a point? No.
Oh my goodness! But like, that goalie save percentage.
Going back, no, because you just worry about Campbell because you don't want him playing too many games too early, right? Like that's just the question I added. Like I posted.
Yeah.
It's like, it's friggin' Hutchinson. You better be good, man.
Well, no, you're 100% right because it's a conversation we've been having about Frederick Anderson those first 3 years of his contract, where he didn't really have a backup. It was Garrett Sparks, it was Jonas Enroth for a bit. It was
Jonas
Enroth. Gonna kill me.
What a name.
Daniel, do you remember
which one
it was?
So
before Garrett Sparks, so it was Curtis McElhinney before Curtis McElhinney. It's stressing me out.
Was there someone?
Was there another goalie? So Curtis McElhinney, Jonas.
You know what? I'm gonna search it up.
Okay,
I'm gonna search it
but
up.
Yeah, what I'm kind of thinking about too, and this is it's pretty. It's a good coincidence that I was looking through some old tweets, some old messages, some things that I screenshotted, and I found a few tweets from like Will Christophilus and Will Baldwin who were replying to the podcast about Jack Campbell at the time. Where like he's already 27, 28. How many games has this guy actually played? I know that the injuries were there, and it's been a worry that we've had for quite some time. And he is a great goalie, but at the same time, he's also dealt with his own injuries.
Then what happens when he gets hurt? And it's like, oh, so it's Hutch is the starter, and I guess then Joseph Wold's going to get a chance. You know what I mean? That's the concern is, and again, of course, the bigger picture is, what is he like at the end of the season? Because if he's not fresh for the playoffs, then that's the big concern. You're not going to go far in the playoffs without any goaltending. Hello, Pittsburgh. How are you? Sorry, Tristan Jarry.
It's the Frederick Anderson situation all over again, where he's excellent in the regular season and he's gassed by the time they get to the first round.
Yep. There was no other goalie, by the way. It was just
was McElhinney the first one?
It was
Enroth and McElhinney. Yeah,
McElhinney.
McElhaney set the bar, and then I think was it Sparks after him because Dubas was like young goalie, and then it just
Correct.
didn't
Oh,
work.
I remember now.
Yep.
He only got played like 2 games though, but he was also placed on waivers the same time as Curtis McElhaney. Calvin Pickard.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember seeing him in the airport, and he had his gear with him, and he got called up. I remember that. I had the scoop. I remember seeing. See, I remember I was coming through Pearson, and I remember seeing him there. Yeah. I was on my way to England. Yeah, freaking that's weird. Okay, so moving on. Yeah, the Leafs are on a bit of a heater right now, aren't they? Bit of a fun time now. The third period, Campbell was busy, but there was a stretch where Tampa for like 20 something minutes only had like 2 or 3 shots. And there was that showing of how mad the Leafs were in that last sort of period. But man, they just kept going and going. And boy, Victor Hedman did not have a great game against Tampa.
No.
Sorry, against Toronto.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
No.
But like overall with the Leafs is, if you look, like the biggest thing for me that's different from the first stretch of the season is their reactions. And like you can tell like they're nothing is distracting them by the way they react. Like if you look at the way Mitch Marner reacted to his goal against Detroit versus the way he reacted to his goal against
Vegas.
Against Vegas. Yeah. Like it was just
He
a
let it
completely
out.
different reaction.
Yeah.
Same with Matthews, same with Tavares. Like there's a lot of emotion going around, but not in a bad way. For me, in a positive way. It's just a matter of keeping this energy throughout the season. Like I think that's my biggest point to all of this, is that this energy has to stay with you for as long as the season is possible. If it drops for a game, that's fine, but you can't have these 7-8 game stretches where you lose your mojo.
Mhm.
Like that's why you make the big bucks, right? Like to keep that mojo. How many off games does McDavid have? How many off games does Crosby have? And I'm not trying to compare them. Like that's not my point, but it's that caliber of player that has to keep that energy going for an extremely long period of time.
Yeah, like they're a bit more, I guess, looser in the way they play, that there is that level of confidence now that they know they can get this done, that it's not just about grinding it out all the time or coming back or having like these back-to-back things where we don't know that whether or not like if they're going to win or not. Like now it's just kind of like they're playing their game plan. They're dealing with the cycles a lot better and they're just getting their shots on goal.
It's the idea of not holding your stick too hard, or to not having too hard a grip on your stick. I think there was a tweet going out like the last few goals for the Leafs have just been a mix of Marner, Tavares, and Matthews. The overtime winner against obviously was Nylander, but like another big guy in there.
I think their last 10 goals, CJ tweeted, had been one of the 3.
Okay, well there you go. You just need a bit of that.
I have to give a movie reference to the way they're playing right now.
Okay.
Do you remember the Mighty Ducks where they held the stick too firmly and it was on the ice, like it was too hard? They couldn't catch the pass, like with the egg breaking.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder how many like coaches have tried that drill. You gotta think it was like once that came out, like Minnesotans or Minnesota. Is that what you call them? Minnesotans?
Minnesotites.
The Minnesotans. Anyway, you think you wonder if they do that. And then of course, going to that Bruins game.
Sorry, just to correct myself, the last 13 goals have been Matthews, Marner, Tavares, or Nylander.
That's pretty good. When are people going to start respecting John Tavares, by the way? Because that guy has been very good.
Goes back to the All or Nothing where his uncle also named John Tavares. Like, you're at that age now in your career where people are going to doubt you, saying you have nothing left.
I think he's been doubted since like his second year.
Yeah.
They've just been harsh on that guy. It's unbelievable.
I'd like to say before we go on with the Boston thing, 2 things. I love that they beat Boston, and I also love that they beat them while they were wearing their special jerseys.
Where they were? Oh, the
Like
Bruins,
the Bruins,
ugly. Oh,
yes.
those are so awful. Those are so, It's so annoying because the Bruins have such great jerseys. Like, I think of their 2015 Winter Classic one.
Yeah.
That's such a good jersey, and you just get the one with the stupid big B.
I wanted the bear back.
Go get the bear or get your classic. It was a bad jersey. They deserve to lose, honestly, wearing those. Well, no, I don't think there's anything quite better for Leafs fans than the Bruins getting their teeth kicked in on a Saturday night.
It was nice. It was a little scary there for a second, not gonna lie. It was 4-1 in the third. Then like a minute later, it was 4-2. I did get nervous there. But overall, like, again, like getting these type of victories, it's great to beat the lower teams in the standings. But I think for a team that has that, I don't want to say fragile because I used that last time. I don't know if that's necessarily the right word. It's easily manipulated their emotion in that room to get wins against big teams. I think does a lot for their confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I agree that this is a team that you had to prove to yourself that if we're having this kind of stretch, if we could beat a team like the Lightning and then we could beat a team like the Bruins, then this is something that we could work with, that there is that momentum that could keep on moving forward.
Mm-hmm. All right. And this originally came from CJ on the CJ show. That he used the term selling mode, and I think that was not the best term to use.
He knew what he was doing.
Man, his words sometimes.
Yeah, that was a bit. And don't say that a team in the middle of a 5-game winning streak is selling. So yeah, with Mikheyev's return being on the horizon, the cap is obviously a mess right now, and the Leafs need to make room. And that seems to be pointing towards one of their D moving, aka the two you can think of are Dermott and Hall. You think right now, I don't know how much value Justin Hall's going to have right now, because what has he been sat the last 4 games?
Yes.
Yeah. And Dermott is cheaper, but then you would also imagine maybe they keep him. I wouldn't, okay, call me crazy. I would look somewhere else, because no offense, okay, so who's the first D in? Right, so let's say it's like, okay, you got your normal 4, there's Hall, so you know there's Riley, there's Muzzin, there's Brody, there's Liljegren and Sandin for the sake of it, and let's just say that it's Justin Hall on a normal night and he's back with Muzzin, right? Okay, so if you get rid of Dermott, who's the first D in for injury?
Man, Daniel, you had it like
Christian Rubens.
Christian Rubens, I don't know, like Alex Biega, I don't know. Like, there's no more Martin Marincin. Martin Marincin was kind of that weird stopgap between or Carl Dahlstrom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not great. Like, I agree with you. Like, I don't necessarily think they should trade Hall for the sake of trading Hall. I also don't think they should trade Dermott either, because he's looked pretty decent. He's looked okay next to Morgan Riley. Like, this is the pairing we've been waiting for since the beginning of the podcast, I'm pretty sure.
So long.
And he's playing on the right side too, which is just incredible. Now, the thing with Hall is he looks really good next to Jake Muzzin, right? Him and Muzzin look really good together.
Mm-hmm.
It's either he plays there or he plays on the third pairing. I just don't know how he would work next to Morgan Riley. Is my biggest concern, because we've had this discussion before, the Jake Muzzin effect.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he made Nikita Zaitsev look good, man. Like, what do you want me to say? I saw a tweet yesterday putting elite and Zaitsev in the same sentence. I was scared there for a second, but it's just that it's like the thing with Hall is he can really be in 2 spots, and both those spots are currently taken.
Yeah, I have the list, by the way.
Okay.
Of possible defensive call-ups. So you're right, Alex Biega.
Yeah.
There's also Mac Holloway.
Yeah.
Christian Rubens got called up, I think. Yeah. There's Cal Dahlstrom. And this guy who I was excited when he signed with the Leafs because
Yes.
I always thought he was NHL ready, but the Wild just said they couldn't fit him anymore in terms of
Yeah.
contract size. So that's Brennan Mennel,
Mhm.
NCAA guy. He's from Minnesota and he's a right-hand shot. The only, I guess, drawback on him is he's only 5'11", but I don't know. He's a possibility too.
But the point I'm trying to make is what are those players looking like in March? You know what I mean? When the games get tighter and you need those. Like right now, Liljegren and Sandin look great, but I wonder how they look as the year progresses, right? It's that I don't like Dom Ducharme, but I like his philosophy of how the game changes throughout the season. My thing is, and they want to bring back apparently like the return being a Zach Bogosian type. Now, like for that case, it almost has to be Hall because of Hall's cap hit. Because otherwise, I don't get how Mikheyev's coming back. Otherwise, I'll tell you another reason why the cap just sort of sucks is how everyone is just pinching right now. I'm just wondering, like, it's making it so difficult just for, like, is depth just not slowly disappearing right now? Like, Vegas are a deep team when healthy. You know what I mean? It's at the point where the Leafs are going to have to sacrifice an NHL defenseman just to stay compliant to bring back a forward who, no offense to Ilya Mikheyev, is he worth losing an NHL caliber D? I know he's a good penalty killer in that, but it's just something about the cap that's really making me upset. Is like, while it's staying so stagnant, like depth everywhere is just getting slashed and the league won't do a damn thing about it. It's so annoying.
I know it hasn't been mentioned recently, but it's just gonna irk me a little bit where they may have to potentially lose an NHL defenseman for someone who asked for a trade.
Yeah.
Right. I wonder now that Mrazek is on LTIR for at least 4 weeks, how that changes things in terms of the cap. Again, I'm not Brandon Pridham. I wish I was, or else like, I don't know, like, or else I know, but I have to imagine that does change things because that's $3.8 million going on LTIR.
I just realized that Joseph Wall's on the roster.
Yes. Yeah, he's on an emergency loan. I don't know what that means either.
Okay, all right then. All right. Okay, yeah, it's just the cap stuff. Is
Shenanigans.
Yeah, great league, an amazing league. Just a lot wrong there. A lot wrong. Okay.
Gotta love it.
Anything else on the Leafs note we want to touch on, or?
I don't think so.
Okay. Good news in Habs land. Carey Price will be rejoining the team on Monday. Won't talk to the media or anything until he sort of gets the thumbs up. You get that. In the meantime, though, do you guys know who leads the Habs in scoring, by the way?
I have a feeling based on your tweets last night, I do know.
Daniel, do you want to guess?
It's like someone I wouldn't think of, right?
I mean, you ask and you might find out.
Yoel Armia.
If Yoel Armia was the leading scorer on the Canadians, I think we would be leading off with that today. And
he has an assist.
Okay.
He has a single assist all year.
There'd be more yelling, I'd imagine, involved.
In 13 games played. That's one more than Adam Brooks in 3 games. No, it's... This guy has had a very quiet, amazing season. 12 points in 13 games for Nick Suzuki. So yeah, he's doing really well. There is a GIF, you know, and I don't know if you guys haven't seen Game of Thrones, right?
I saw the first 3 seasons.
I just watch. Anyway, there's like that famous scene. I'm not going to give too many spoilers because it's still a good show. The ending sucks, but still, of like Jon Snow holding a sword when there's like a large army coming towards him.
Yeah,
I've seen that one.
Yeah, from Battle of the Bastards, and it's just like Nick Suzuki is now the new Carey Price doing all the work.
I think the Thanos one.
What?
Fine, I'll do it myself.
The final. Well, I mean, you know, we could maybe do that if they were winning games, but so are we 3 weeks into the season now? Like on Tuesday, or is that going to be 4 weeks? Can someone just give me someone just check that for me,
I believe
please?
that will be 3 weeks. Yes.
Oh, it's only been 3 weeks. Oh my god. I'm just realizing that there is still 71 games left for the Habs, and it's kind of killing me. They're now 3-10-0. They've lost 2 straight, obviously. They were losing 5-0 at the end of the second period versus the Islanders. You know, Suzuki and Toffoli scored. Good job. They were up 2-0 versus Vegas, and at one point we're out shooting them 20-1. Then they stopped being able to kill a penalty. And there was a play, right? So the Habs had an offensive zone draw. It was 4-on-4 because Gallagher got thrown out because he was being beat up on when he was on his hands and knees. But, you know, the NHL, great league. So it was an offensive zone draw. Now, I'm not a coach. However, if I have a draw, I'm down by 1 and there's 3 minutes left. I would not pull the goalie until I had clear possession. Obviously. And we know the troubles Montreal have had for faceoffs, right? So Dom Ducharme decides that instead of waiting, he has the offensive zone draw, pulls Jake Allen for the 5-on-4. Right away, it's an empty netter for Vegas. I'm pretty sure he then did it again, and obviously there was a bit more zone thinking. It's just like Montreal it was a great game in the sense of they were battling, but there were just so many breakdowns in special teams and the coaching decisions there. It's not a game I can really blame on the players, even though the penalty kill blows and I can give it to them. And Jeff Petrie refuses to pass the puck. It's serious. It's actually if anyone watch Jeff Petrie doesn't pass anymore. Chris Weidman's the first defenseman power play guy, by the way, now. And he's good at it. It's actually kind of funny. I don't know how there's not a change at this. Nothing. Guys, do you know what their record is? They're 3-10-0. I know I said it. They've won 3 games and it's November. This is the worst start since the 40s.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this the last few days because I'm trying to pinpoint what the issue in Montreal is. And maybe you can answer this for me because I'm kind of dumbfounded by what's going on.
Same.
I can't pinpoint, is it the players? Because I think, the additions they made, yes, I understand the players that you've lost, but you've tried to bring in players who in a way can fill that void. Maybe it's just, I don't think they've done a great job at doing that. To me, if I have to pinpoint one thing, I don't think they filled the voids that they think they've filled.
Yeah. For me, I thought that I already knew the way everything was going to go after the finals with Shea Weber's injury, with Phil Deneau's pending free agency, Jesper Kotkaniemi's situation, Carey Price not being with the team, that there was already going to be a lot of bleeding.
Yeah.
And yeah, what Alex said about the voids, it seemed like they were quality patchwork there, but it's not enough to even at first I said, okay, it's not enough to elevate the team to be competitive again, but right now it's not even enough to keep them afloat. It's not enough for them to be competitive.
Well, it's not even there's pushing the playoffs and the way they were playing and what you would sort of expect of a team going to the finals, and then there's just being a competent team. It's not even, how do I put this? If I pinpoint exactly what's wrong with this team, it's easier to just say what's right because it's so little. You think about it, I need to double check exactly where their penalty kill is here. I haven't checked in a few days. I remember it was, I think, 3rd last in the league. But I haven't, really taken the time to sit down and be okay, what do we have here? But you look at it, really, can one of you just quickly, while I'm finding this, can one of you just sort of get up daily face-off, please?
Yep, got it.
As I'm quickly getting up their penalty kill. I don't want to, I hate NHL.com so much. Why does nothing work properly? Oh my god, this is awful.
I am on their daily face-off.
Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, oh my god, this sucks. Okay, so first off, their penalty kill is running 66%. You can't do that. No. Okay, can you screen share, Alex?
Oh yeah, let me get it here 1 second.
Yeah, if you can't, first off, if your special teams don't work, and we just talk about just how you're just not going to be able to play, period. By the way, that's not, they're down there with like Detroit, Arizona, and Winnipeg, by the way, who all of a sudden can't seem to feel like Emily. Okay, first off, so let's just initially think that we know that Cole Caulfield should probably be paying in. Did Daniel just leave?
Did he?
Uh-oh. Okay, anyway, let me just get through this. Okay. And I'm gonna imagine the roster is healthy right now, right? Because they're dealing with injuries right now. Okay. So I refuse to believe that a team with Suzuki, Dvorak, Evans, Anderson, Gallagher, Toffoli, Caulfield, Hoffman, Lehkonen, Armia is not Perot, who we know has been a serviceable fourth line center, but he's out with that eye injury, right? There is no excuse. Like, that is a good offensive core.
Yeah.
Okay. Jake Allen is a good goalie. Like, we know that he is. I saw people ripping Jake Allen. Like, I think the SDP guy said Allen hasn't been great. I need people. That's one of those things where you're like, I need you to watch the games. But then can you just scroll down to the defense for a second, please, here, Alex? Yep. Okay. Jeff Petrie is a good defenseman. I don't know what's wrong with him right now, right? They just seem to like throw Alexander Romanov up and down. So now I want you to think of it right now. So it's Petrie, Savard, Weidman right now, Sherratt, Kulak, Romanov. Okay, excuse me. So just think of it like this. So Joel Edmondson will come back, and let's say that he's playing with Jeff Petrie, as he was before. Now, where does Ben Sherratt go?
I'd say with David Savard. Like, I don't know.
Okay, and see, there's the problem. So then who comes out? One of Brett Kulak or Alexander Romanov? Okay, so then all of a sudden, think of this. 3 of your defensemen are now again Sherratt, Savard, and Edmondson. No one can move the puck. Your transition game is dead all of a sudden, right there and then, right? Like, see, that's the big problem. There is a mix of, I don't think they have a coach that is great. I don't think they have a GM who has built a proper team on the back end. Because if you can't break the puck out and you can't win battles in the neutral zone, then I don't know what you plan on doing. They don't have an effective penalty kill and all that. Could you
want to see their penalty kill?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's bring up the PK.
I didn't even know this is new. I didn't know Daily Faceoff had this.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Like, the personnel there, like, okay, Petrie, Sherratt, like, listen, Lekkonen's always been a good PK guy. Suzuki's good too. But it's just, the way they do it is they have a very passive penalty kill. Like, they let the shots come. It's not like the Leafs are assumed, like, the modern day NHL approach that is an aggressive penalty kill, right? It's almost like they don't have a modern approach to the game anymore. That's the big concern you kind of see is I just don't think that management and the coaching staff know what it takes to win anymore. Because I just think there's so much fundamentally wrong with the back end. And I know, and like, Dvorak hasn't been good, and he needs to be. But that is a good player, and we know how good he's been in the past. And like, that's what I worry about, is it's like, this team and this roster, even as it should be, and the problem it has, should not be the bottom. I don't think they're bottom of the league because Arizona, obviously. But I want to say they're second last in the league. Sorry, they're third last because somehow the Blackhawks, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
This team in November should not have 6 points. I look at that. They are not at the level of the Coyotes. And having Louis Eriksson still on the team. That's what I don't get. It's obviously like Deneau, and they lost a lot of that identity. I'll accept that finally with losing Weber and Deneau. But there is still, going back to last season when those guys were around, and the issues we saw in the regular season, when defensively they're awful. Again, they can't transition. And it is a prehistoric approach to building a team. It is half of their defense are the exact type of players that Marc Bergevin was as a player. And that's the big problem.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there on the way the team is built. Like, it's just, they kind of missed the point on, well, okay, so yes, we lost these guys, but you still have to, fill the voids properly. And I get that's difficult. but it's something that needs to be done somehow, whether that's, and I think one part of it is the players that are on the team right now also have to step up, whether that's on the ice or off the ice. I don't know what's happening off the ice, but someone has to step up and say, hey guys, like, give them a kick in the ass or something. I don't know what needs to be done specifically, but something to give these guys a jolt, because to me, it seems like something's missing compared to the team that we watched in the Stanley Cup final less than 6 months ago.
Hello guys, I am back.
Daniel.
I agree from what I've heard from Alex right now, where I think a big thing too, when we think about the finals and what was going on there and what we're thinking about this season, is a major thing for me are a lot of the young guys that they had to step up. A lot of the people that were coming in and they said, listen, we're kind of try to give you an opportunity. And for me, Nick Suzuki, great player. I'm still looking Jake Evans. I'm looking at Ryan Poehling, see where that goes. I know that there's a few injuries there, but a big one for me has been Alex Romanov, because I thought that this was going to be the perfect situation for him to really show that he can be a top 4 guy.
Wait. I will defend him there. His last few games have been good. He's been very good when it comes to jumping in the play. What you did miss though, one thing I'm just gonna go thing here is think about when Edmondson comes back, Romanov will then get pushed to the bottom 6, right? Because they have that obsession. Sorry, go on. I did want to defend Romanov there.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's been bad or anything. It's just I'm not saying he's bad or anything, but I'm just saying I'm still kind of confused where this lineup scheme is going, where what you said, there's that obsession right now where they want to have these things balanced, but I think this is a point in time where you should see an Alex Romanov, even if Joel Edmondson comes back, to stay in the top 6, stay in the top 4. My apologies.
And the point was being made a lot in the broadcast. If you keep him with Jeff, or you put him with Jeff Petrie, I would do that. I think, or even if you need to move him, keep him. Not even with Savard. He has this weird thing to his game where there is that offensive touch. He's never obviously going to be like Erik Karlsson and that, but there is a creativity almost to his game and a bit of flair to it. He's an exciting defenseman to watch. Especially with his physicality, we know that. It's just here's the big problem. I've said this before. Caulfield, a lot of his sort of advanced stats started coming out, and Alex, could you stop the screenshot?
Oh, sorry.
No worries. I'm thinking about this. You build the team around the young guys, right? And Nick Suzuki, I don't know his ice time, but the bench was shortened last night, thankfully. The team needs to be built around giving those young guys a chance, right? And Caulfield, goal scorers need to be given the puck. And if you don't, then what's the point? You know what I mean? I'm looking at a certain defenseman about that still. And again, the same with Poehling just wasn't good enough. That's on him. But Romanov at the same time also needs to be given that chance. It's he's been good. He's turned his game around, and there was some questions around him, but it's just they need to be used properly, and I don't think the coaching staff are using them properly, except Suzuki, because he's been amazing, and he has to sort of carry that load.
Suzuki's played 23 minutes last night, which is 3 minutes more than his highest ice time at this season.
Which makes sense because he was great. He's earning his contract that he's getting next year. I'll tell you that. So he's off to a good start. I think there's a real Man, I know people were going on about Ducharme, and they're still paying Claude Julien. You're the Montreal Canadiens. I don't want to hear a damn excuse about money. No. You didn't lower season ticket prices. I know you didn't. I know that for a fact. So you have the money. So you didn't give it to Phil Deneau. So I don't want to hear a damn thing about finances right now if they don't want to go, and Ducharme cannot stay. He isn't it. He just is not the coach. He can't adjust mid-game. He can't motivate the team. It doesn't even look like he has any fire under the guy. I don't want to make a YouTube... Dude, it's not about being a meme or getting angry. We just need this sort of I don't know. The guy's lost it. It's
See
a
it this way:
what?
I compared to the Rangers. If they
Yeah.
could get a new coach and still not this year, but a previous 2 seasons ago, where they could still have over $13 million in buyouts on that team, it's possible.
You're rich. You're the third richest team in the league. Go do it.
You think it's an ego thing? I personally think it might be.
For
Like
Bergevin?
you just signed him to a 3-year extension.
How many? Okay, so he's obviously had. He had Terrian. He had Julian. Both returning coaches, funny enough, to the organization. Fired Muller. Multiple assistants before that, if you remember back in the JDD days. Then obviously Muller and Julian go. The guy has sort of. I thought he ran out of bullets last year when he got rid of Stephon Waite and all that. So it must be. I don't know, but if you're Jeff Molson, you need a proper explanation as to why this team is having one of its worst starts in over 100 years of its history, and you're continuing to keep these guys, one of which does not have a contract. So you can't let nothing happen here. Patience is not the answer, because you are not coming back from 3-9-1 to start 3-10-1, whatever it is, to start the year. The season is over. They may lose all pressure when you admit to sort of a retool or whatever here, or throwing the season down the river as you should and get some draft picks for the draft in Montreal at this point. But there needs to be some decisions soon here. And the deadline has to be American Thanksgiving, because we know that's normally a cutoff time around the league for certain activity. Yeah. But something needs to change. There's no reason as to why Berge and Ducharme should still be around right now. Zero reason. Absolutely none, if you look at it. Okay. 3 quick notes. The worst kept secret in the league, one of the many. Brady Cachuck is finally the captain of the Ottawa Senators.
Is he really?
What the hell took so long with that?
I actually thought he wasn't going to be captain.
What?
I did not.
Why?
I thought it would be Thomas Chabot.
You didn't believe Matthew Cachuck in his 32 thoughts interview?
I really thought it was going to be Thomas Chabot.
I mean, maybe they don't want to give it to another defenseman because they're like, Eric. It's really funny how all their captains end up leaving and hate the organization, by the way.
Okay, I was thinking about this before the episode, and I cannot remember. Was Mark Stone captain for a year, or they said that he was going to be captain if they gave him an extension, right?
It was that.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to clarify
that. Was the rumor, yeah. That he was going to be captain if he signed the extension.
Fact, Eric Brandstrom is not on the team.
Is he good enough? Because DJ Smith's not an idiot, right? Is he just not good enough? Because
maybe change of scenery.
Is that glow is gone on him? Remember when he was one of the biggest steals in the 2017 draft?
And it's just we look at Vegas, right? They're not afraid to make moves, by the way, right? Maybe they just realized he wasn't going to be the best, or maybe they just kind of wanted the good player like they always do. But I don't know. Picks just don't work out. The game doesn't translate to a new place. Maybe he just doesn't work. And not to mention their pipeline is so chock full of D at this point. Maybe you're right, Alex, and he needs a new Kravtsov. For Brandstrom.
Over the last couple of years, I've heard different things about what DJ Smith didn't like. I heard once that it was Brandstrom prefers to play on the right side. Brandstrom is also left-handed, and DJ Smith, who likes it left to right, left to right, left to right. That was one thing I heard. I heard another thing that DJ Smith just didn't wasn't a fan of Eric Brandstrom in terms of the way he played, just didn't fit his system. I've read that. That's always a possibility, and that's why change of scenery might not be the worst thing for him.
Man, at least flip him. Do something for him now. Get something for him, because that was a centerpiece for that entire deal.
It was the main part.
Yeah.
It was. Whatever happened to Vitaly Abramov, the guy they got from Columbus?
Oh, he's in the KHL.
Yeah.
I don't think they have any. Okay, so they had Lassie Thompson was the first round pick, and then Vitaly Abramov, and then it was who's the second guy?
I'll search up. Did you Shane deal?
Yeah, Abramov, and
Did you get anything else wrong?
there was another guy where I remember at the time they're like, oh, these guys were low picks.
Jonathan Davidson.
There you go. They're like, these guys were low picks, but they're good. I remember someone, they had a tweet where it's like, you don't know Columbus if you think Ottawa won this trade. If you think Ottawa won this trade or something.
Yarmo's a G.
By the way, Jonathan Davidson is playing in Sweden.
Okay.
Wow. Okay then. What else do we have here? It's funny. I thought Arizona were going to lose last night because, of course, I did. So I wrote a thing about them losing. I want to find this tweet quickly. Actually, it was really funny.
While you find that, I was just so happy that the first win didn't come against the Ducks because I got worried there.
It's the worst feeling, when you think it's going to happen to your team.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. So in 17-18, the Coyotes start 0-10-1. Claim goalie Scott Wedgwood on waivers. And in Wedgwood's first game, he gets the Coyotes their first win. 2021-2022, Coyotes start 0-10-1. Claim goalie Scott Wedgwood on waivers. And in Wedgwood's first game, he gets the Coyotes their first win. Because history repeats itself. And another tweet that Alex sent to us. 2020-2021 Norris Trophy candidate Jacob Chickering has no points and is an NHL worst -20. There is no narrative in which this is not a concern. It's from Craig Morgan on Twitter. Yeah, that's okay. So have you guys looked at Arizona's scoring?
I did. That just insane.
Okay, Alex, don't. We're gonna play a game here. We're gonna try and guess what Arizona are looking at here.
Okay. I love these games.
What happened? It's hilarious that they've had two historically bad starts. Okay. Oh my goodness. In 3 games, Carter Hutton's goals against average is 7.76 and his save percentage was 7.41. What the heck? They have good goaltending. Beside that, obviously. Wedgwood, one game was decent. Vejmelka, in 10 games played, is a 9.13.
Wow.
Not bad.
And they will trade him for a 3rd-round pick at the deadline.
So, oh my God, Chickering is really bad. The closest to him is a -10 Andrew Ladd, who is playing, so I guess that conditional pick goes the other way. So their leading scorer is Shane Gostisbehere with 9 points in 12. Wow. How did Bergevin not pick him up?
I just asked Alex something before after that. Alex, who do you think is the highest scoring forward?
Okay, I don't know. I'm just gonna take a guess here. Is it Louis Eriksson?
No. It is no. He has
younger guy.
He has as many points as Joel Armia.
I said it because I'm convinced they're gonna get a pick for him at the deadline, and like a decent one too.
He's still playing on the 4th line, like in Arizona. That's surprising to me because like Jay Beagle at one point was like he was a first line center like for one game.
Clayton Keller.
No, I've mentioned him before.
I don't know.
He was also a lottery pick.
Guess how many?
Barrett Hayton.
No. Guess how many points they have. This player, their highest scoring forward in 12 games. Guess how many points they have?
5.
No, 6. Keller has 5 points though. Oh. It's Lawson Krause.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Wow.
So here are their leading scorers. Gostisbehere 9 points in 12 games. Krause 6 in 12. Keller 5 in 12. Kessel has 5 in 12. Fisher 5 in 12. Larson 5 in 12. Travis Boyd has 2 goals in 5 games. And Stroman has 2 in 12. Ladd has 2 points in 12. It's not great. So how many players do they have who haven't scored a goal? Oh my God, half their roster hasn't scored a goal. Has Kessel got a point? He has 5 points.
Oh, he's a -5.
Sorry, I missed that. My bad.
No one has scored more than 5 goals. And only 5 players have more than 1 goal on this.
So I'm just on NHL.com. They've scored a total of 19 goals. Dallas has 22, which is like, I don't know.
Dallas.
Yeah, which is like, I guess, fair, I guess.
The defensively stalwarty Dallas Stars.
Okay, this might be the most surprising one, though, because I have to ask you, how many goals do you think the Islanders have scored?
How many do you see Arizona scored?
19.
I'll say 25.
I'm gonna say 23 because they got boosted up against Montreal.
Daniel is spot on at 25. If you have to take a guess at how many goals they have allowed,
26.
20. They've allowed. Sorry, Daniel. I didn't need to let you guess. I got so excited because they've allowed 20 goals, along with the Carolina Hurricanes. By the way, 20 goals. This is just incredible. It's incredible. Sorry, I just wanted to bring that up.
Do you know what's a little funny story in this league that I kind of love?
Let's hear it.
So, you guys remember who drafted Adam Fox, right?
Yeah, the Calgary Flames.
Yes, and obviously he didn't want to sign there, so that was obviously how the Lindholm Hannafin Hamilton giant deal happened.
Yeah.
Do you remember where he was traded to? Obviously,
Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how he didn't want to sign there either.
Yeah, he wanted to sign New York.
Yeah, which is just hilarious to think of. Because did you guys catch the Carolina New York game?
I unfortunately did not.
So he's getting booed every time he touches the puck. It's hilarious. So then he scores and he lets them have it. But then the goal is called back. And then obviously Calgary then wins 6-0. Hilarious stuff. I just thought they really hate Adam Fox there. I didn't realize how
that happened in Anaheim. Well, it doesn't happen too much anymore, but when Justin Schultz signed with the Oilers.
Really?
Yeah, because he was like a highly touted defenseman, and apparently the Ducks, apparently there was this is speculation. There was a promise in his third year at University of Wisconsin playing with our good buddy Jake Gardner that he was going to sign with the Ducks. He just wanted to finish school first.
Oh.
And they're like, okay, that's fine. And when he graduated, he's like, I'm going to go to free agency.
So it's funny you say that. So Montreal have a prospect. I always forget his name. It's not Cam Hillis. That's a forward. They have a defenseman who's in the NCAA, and he's been very clear that he wants to finish school. And if he leaves because he graduates this year or he finishes it this year, whatever, I don't think the fan base are going to be very happy about it.
Is it Sean Farrell or something like that?
No. Sean Farrell's just starting his NCAA. He has been killing it, by the way. No, this is his first year in the NCAA. But he was USHL Player of the Year. He was insane. No, it's not Sean Farrell. It's
Jordan Harris. It's Jordan
Harris.
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah.
I was killing me. I needed to know.
That sounds like a baseball name.
I know. That's a little bit.
If he doesn't sign, I'll be pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That never happened to Toronto. Like an NCAA guy never wanted to. I know Jake Gardner was acquired when he was in university, but he signed.
They all want to go to New York. I mean, who blames them?
I'll blame
VC.
I remember that summer because the Leafs just got Jake Gardner, and then they got Justin Schultz buddy Jake Gardner. This is when everybody thought Justin Schultz was going to be an all-star, and it's like this means the Leafs are going to get Justin Schultz.
It's hilarious. How must it feel being New York, knowing that probably any player would love to come play there?
Oh yeah,
that makes me so sick that you have all the money and everyone wants to play for you.
You know what makes me sad about this situation? Looking back at it now,
what?
The Adam Fox situation.
Adam Fox, yeah,
What's
that it worked out so well for him going to New York and holding out.
Yeah,
and then I think of Jimmy Vesey, who just did the exact same before him.
And is nothing.
Well, Adam Fox could have he just needed to play one more year if I'm doing my math correctly, and he could have just walked right to free agency. Carolina made the smart move and trading him, knowing that he was not going to.
Owen Power's taking notes right now.
Can you imagine he does not? He just I don't finish university.
Oh my god, that would be the worst thing for Buffalo.
Especially because Darlene is just what's going on? What happened?
Did you see that clip
where he goes to just yeet the puck off the goal line and he just completely whiffs and falls on his ass?
Oh.
What was worse, that or Hoffman last night after he tried to stop the empty netter, he was too late and just whacked into the boards and fell on his butt.
I don't know. For me, the Darlene one was kind of humorous.
Nice fan. A few more of those might get them cold.
I feel like the Darlene one's gonna live on in hockey memes.
Is it worse than Patrick Stefan?
No, because Patrick Stefan, like, the team lost because of him.
No,
Like, Dallas lost because of
I thought they won that game.
No, so what happens is they didn't score against the Oilers, and then it goes back the other way, and then they lose in overtime.
I thought they had won in overtime and they had let it go, but no, really. Who was it? And then you ever seen Craig Smith?
I did not see this
I
one.
don't think so.
Oh my god, let me find it. So Craig Smith has an empty net, and I do not know how, but he just roofs it. Like, roofs it. I'm surprised it didn't hit the rafters. And it's just, like, you can tell, like, everyone is celebrating because they think he scored it, but he's just, he just, the look on his face. Let me try and find this. The Craig Smith misses empty net. It is hilarious to actually watch. Craig Smith, my guy. How did he play last night, by the way?
He was okay.
I heard the PlayStation.
I heard the PlayStation.
Oh,
too.
Call of Duty Vanguard, who cares? Halo Infinite. Okay, watch this. This is
Against
honestly
Toronto.
awful. So he comes in for the empty net and just boom.
Oh,
I like the lights came on.
did he think he scored too?
No, you can tell on his face he knows, but everyone else, like, look at his face. He knows exactly what he did.
Oh
what he
my
did.
God.
And Barry Trotz is like, what just happened? How?
So
Barry
what year?
Trotz-
What year was this?
Well, so Barry
Oh, Ryan
Trotz,
Suter is still there.
like 2011.
2011.
So
So
it's
that might
against the
be
Leafs,
Ron
right?
Wilson.
This was
So-
Ryan Suter's last year here.
So there he goes. He's got the full length chin. He has, and he just, it's on his forehand, and he just, I don't know where he was aiming, but he just, like, look it up, people. He has all the room, and he just, he literally just bends it upward.
So if you go back a few seconds, you'll see the guy in the background on the Leafs just falling. See falling. That's just that pinpoints everything what Toronto was in the 2010s.
I just, like, how the hell do you miss that? Hang your head
Brutal.
in shame, Craig Smith.
I have a fun
Brutal.
fact about this season
What?
that will affect Adam.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Okay, so that was the summer Ryan Suter's like, I'm gone.
Yeah, loser.
And then afterwards, the Preds were struggling to sign Shea Weber, and then he signs his current contract with the Flyers as that offer sheet.
Really? That was that close together, right? Well, because
Yeah.
I'm the only guy you have left, so.
Because that was his last year. Because that summer they lost both Dan Hamhuis and Ryan Suter, and they're like, "There's no way we're losing Shea Weber."
Is that when Ryan Suter and Zach Parise caused the lockout? As Steve
Yeah, that's when they
would
called the
say.
lockout. Yeah,
Can we again talk about the fact that the league are still like, I don't know about Shea Weber and Brent Seabrook and Andrew Shaw have openly retired, and they're like, no, that's okay. Like,
or Marian Hossa, where like the Blackhawks, like, oh yeah, to save us, like Cap, don't retire officially, but we'll like get you an office job.
magically has a skin disease after how long of playing to do with his equipment. Like, it is hilarious just how biased Gary actually is. Like, I used to not believe it, but the past few months have just let me completely lose. Like, I've lost, like, no, you don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. You know what I mean? It's so hilarious.
I'd like to mention one thing. It's on a positive note.
Okay.
Congratulations on an amazing career, Marian Gaborik, one of my favorite players in my childhood.
It's so weird that he just retired. What weird timing. Why didn't you do it over the summer, dude? Does he get a ring? No.
No. I hope not.
I don't know.
Sorry,
Just-
I assumed
They couldn't have done it without him.
they really couldn't.
Probably
That's a
could've,
good
yeah.
Point. That's a hell of a point.
If I'm
honestly,
him,
for all the all the injuries he had in his career, if you look back on it, I am very happy he got to over 1,000 games, because the guy like would have these seasons where he would absolutely be amazing, and then he would just like miss almost a whole year the next year, and then it was kind of like that back and forth.
who was the goalie that ruined him going for the poke check?
Oh, I can't remember.
I need to find who this is. You ever seen this clip?
I don't think so.
It's Marian Gaborik, and he's storming for a puck, and obviously, as we know, Marian Gaborik is one of the fastest players ever. So, okay, it's you know who it is? It's Dominic Hasek, which is really weird to think that they played together. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so yeah, here's Gaborik, fastest player ever, and then Hasek just comes out.
Oh my god.
He does
Oh
a
my
somersault.
god.
It's hilarious. Like just look at the speed here. Just put it whoop.
No one knows how to respond to that. Like, just
And
I'd
this,
be
I don't
losing
know.
my mind. And they're already losing 5-0. It's
Yeah.
like this guy comes out for the poke check. Like, really?
What's interesting for me is when I was working with the hockey writers and getting to know a lot of people from Minnesota who love the Wild, how much of a narrative Marian Gaborik is still with the team and how it really actually affected like the Kirill Kaprizov contract negotiations. Because before Kaprizov, he was really their only homegrown like star.
Yeah.
And he was a cautionary tale of, you know, you should really try to sign your guys to long-term deals or trying to generate a system where these guys could flourish. Because when Gaborik was, you know, dominating the league, they brought in, do you remember Jacques Lemaire?
Yeah, of course remember Jacques Lemaire. Yeah.
Yeah, and he adopted the trap system because they didn't have a lot of good defensemen on the Wild. And you're going to get a guy like Marian Gaborik to be that type of player. It's like same thing when, remember when Ilya Kovalchuk went to the Devils and like he didn't want to back check.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
when
kinda, like,
John
ruined
Tortorella
everything.
made Patrick Laine a power forward.
Yeah. So
Get hired in Florida.
it's crazy to me that like after all these years, and I was really sad when he went to New York because I always liked him at that small market superstar kind of thing. But yeah, it's interesting. Like now, like the way the Wild structure their contracts, the way they deal with their young guys, it's because of what happened with Marian Gaborik.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. It's a good little tale.
Yeah.
Well, I think besides that, I think we're good. TikTok is pretty good. I'd say first off, if you like the show, I hope at the start you downloaded it. If not, download it and just be done with it. I don't know, just do it. It helps us. Do it. So see on wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Stop messing with the app, please. It's awful.
One thing I found it. I've meant to bring it up, but I just lost it. This is from Rick Westhead. This was yesterday. It's about it's more developing on the Blackhawks, of course. Spoke today to sports marketing executive who told me multiple sponsors have, quote, put the NHL on notice to improve response to Blackhawks abuse scandal. NHL brand significantly tarnished over past week, exec says, adding some sponsors unhappy with league's crisis management. Tweet 2. Exec said concerns over NHL response began with NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman and Bill Daley leaning back in chairs, not wearing suit jackets during Monday press conference. Exec, quote, they seem to have no clue about respecting the gravity of the situation. The third one, sponsor angst, exec said, has more to do with what was said by Bettman and Daley during their press conference than what they wore or their posture, if that needs to be clarified.
I mean, it's still a bad look. Also, yeah, one thing I forgot that we have it on the doc. The PA Executive Board have also approved an independent review on the PA's handling of the Kyle Beach stuff. Again, I don't know if this is just sort of pushing the can down the road for the PA and Donald Fear. How that guy has a job right now is...
Yeah.
Me.
I'm a little confused at what the point is, because there was kind of addressed, was it not, in the original investigation? Like, what more?
What was it like? Fear didn't, like, they referenced him to one of a doctor or a therapist or something. I wonder if it's, and I think they said it's going to be 2 to 3 months before we know anything. I wonder if it's to get the exact details, so then there is a proper sort of framework for a plan to see, like, this is what went wrong. This is, and I also wonder, and I hope this is also going to give cause to the PA that maybe there will now be, in this interim, a chance to maybe look for someone after Don Fear. Because if it comes out and there is a thing that was clearly a mishandlement, he needs to be gone then. I wonder if it's just the you can with an investigation, it's better than just if you're just going and being like, okay, later that there's going to be some actual sort of foundation for this whole thing.
Sure.
That's what I can speculate on, but there's no real. It's not like we've heard from the players and it's like this is for sure, right? So
no, it's just like some of the quotes we've heard. It just seems like, well, you guys seem pretty pissed off from what you've read. So just trying to figure out what the intention is here. Like what more I'm curious to know, and I know we'll never get this answer in the near future. I'm just curious what more they want to know. Yeah. But I think you kind of answered that.
Yeah. All right. Anything else or?
No, that's it.
This will be ongoing. We'll add more details as it goes.
Yeah. Westhead, just freaking killing it. What a great guy. Okay. Well, on that note, Hockey Fights Cancer Month again. Boys, the stashes are looking all right. Daniel, I think you need a bit more from your stash. Come on. Now. I had a good shave today just so the mustache looked a little more pronounced.
I'll clean up around the chin and everything so it's more prominent.
Good. Okay. On that note, we'll see you next time. We love you. And goodbye.